Welcome to Plus 2 Political Science class. Today, I will continue first term topic Lesson 6 The Legislature. Today, I will discuss Day 4 topic that is Powers and Functions of Lok Sabha and Speaker of Lok Sabha. Students, it covers your pages from 205 to 210. Now, I will tell you what are the objectives of the lesson. Students, the complete chapter is divided into 10 days and I have mentioned here topics and their page numbers. As I will be proceeding, I will be telling you topic and page numbers also. Today, we are going to discuss day 4 topic. Already day 1, 2, 3 topics are done with you. Now, today's objectives are uh, before discussion of these objectives, I think so. First, I should take the PK testing of day 3 topic, that is the legislature in India. Now, students, you tell me what is the legislature system in India at the national level? Is it bicameral or unicameral legislature? Tell me. Yes, it is bicameral legislature. The two houses are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. At the state level, it is the option and amendment once is done forever. A state can have unicameral legislature or bicameral legislature. Like total 28 states are there in India. Out of this, only 6 states have bicameral and all other 22 states have unicameral legislature. Now tell me, as according to Indian Constitution, the subjects are divided into union list, state list and concurrent list. There is one more list, one more power which is under with the union government. That is the residuary power. Means if any subject is not mentioned in any of the list, that automatically goes to the union government. It comes under the residuary powers of the union government. Can you tell me which sector was not there in India in 1950 when our constitution came into force? Which is a sector which was added later on? Come on. Nowadays it is very much in demand as COVID is going on, and this is the only sector which is helping us to do all the works. Yes, it is IT sector. Now, my next question is, name the bill which can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. Otherwise, we have bicameral legislature. Any bill can be introduced in any house, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. But one bill is there which can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. Which is that bill? Come on. Yes, it is money bill. Money bill is a bill which can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. After that, it goes to the Rajya Sabha. Now, some members are nominated in Rajya Sabha on the basis of their best performance in the field of science, art, literature, social services. Can you name the actress which was nominated in 2016 and she will be working there till 2022 on the basis of her best performance in the TV serial Mahabharat? Name the actress. She is appointed on the basis of best performance in the field of art. Yes, come on. Yes, correct answer is Rupa Ganguly. She is appointed. Now, I think so PK testing of the day 3 topic, the legislature in India, is over. Now, I will discuss the today's topic, that is powers and functions of Lok Sabha and Speaker of Lok Sabha, the objectives of the day. The objectives are divided into various categories. First, I will discuss the powers and functions of the Lok Sabha. It is given under 7 categories. First is legislative powers, then executive powers, then financial powers, then judicial powers, electoral powers, amendment powers, and then approval of the declaration of emergency power. Then I will discuss about the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. I will discuss method of election of the Speaker, his qualifications, his tenure, and his method of removal. Then I will discuss about powers and functions of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. His powers are divided into 9 categories. The powers are like to preside over the meetings of the House, to maintain discipline in the House, to fix the agenda of the House, permission to ask questions, interpretation of rules of procedure, power to adjourn the House, to exercise a casting vote, control over visitors' galleries, and administrative functions. Students, when I am speaking here House, it means Lok Sabha. Now, finally, I will discuss about the position of the Lok Sabha Speaker. Now, students, this covers your pages from 2.5 to 2.10. Okay. Now, before discussion of these objectives, I will discuss the key terms with you. The first key term is casting vote. A casting vote is a vote that someone may exercise to resolve a deadlock. A casting vote is used by the presiding officer of a council, legislative body, committee, etc., and may only be exercised to break a deadlock. In Lok Sabha, this power is used by the Speaker of the House. Students, when the deadlock occurs in the Lok Sabha, it is a situation when a voting is done on a bill or any resolution, when the voting is done and both sides the votes are equal. Obviously, there is a tie. The tiebreaker is the casting vote. Now, normally the speaker doesn't vote. He is neutral in the Lok Sabha. But in the situation of tie, he is to cast his vote, and this vote is known as the casting vote. The next key term is joint sitting of the House. A joint sitting is most broadly when two separate decision-making groups meet together, often in a special session for a specific purpose. Most often, it refers to when both the houses of parliament sit together to solve the deadlock. Now, students, here I am talking about the deadlock. You know what is deadlock? Suppose a bill is introduced in Lok Sabha, and after passing through Lok Sabha, it goes to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is also to pass, but suppose Rajya Sabha suggests some changes in it and returns back to the Lok Sabha. But Lok Sabha refuses to work on those changes. What is the result? This is deadlock. But the work is not to stop here. Then the president will call the joint session of both the houses, but president will not preside over this joint session. The joint session will be presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha to solve the matter of the deadlock. Okay. Next, the key term is summons the House. The Constitution empowers the President to summon each House of Parliament to meet at such time as he thinks fit. But 6 months shall not intervene between its last sitting in one session and the date appointed for its first sitting in the next session. Students, you know it very well that there are 3 sessions a year: budget session, monsoon session, and the winter session. Whenever the session is to begin, the session begins with the summoning of the president. President summons the House and then the session begins. Okay. The next is prorogation of the House. Prorogation in politics is the action of proroguing or ending an assembly, especially a parliament, at the end of the session without a dissolution of parliament. Yes, students, you must see the words. It is at the end of the session. Like just now I told you, there are 3 sessions a year: budget session, monsoon session, and winter session. So when the complete session is over, on the last day, when it's over, we call it The house is prorogued. It's a prorogation of the house. Okay. The next is adjournment of the house. In parliamentary procedure, an adjournment ends a meeting. It's a daily at the end of the day. Yes, adjournment means when the daily work is over at the end of the day. Means next day they are to still meet. They will come next day also. Daily work when it ends, it's called the adjournment. Prorogation is ending of the session. Adjournment is end of the day. So the difference between the two is that adjournment terminates a sitting at the end of the day, and prorogation terminates a session like budget session, winter session, etc. So hope you are clear about the difference between prorogation and adjournment. The next is Lok Sabha Secretariat. The Lok Sabha Secretariat is an independent office of Lok Sabha which functions under the advice of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. It keeps all the records of the legislature. Secretariat is answerable only to the Speaker, and its action cannot be discussed or criticized in or outside the Lok Sabha. Students, Secretariat word is not new for you as you have done already United Nations. There is one organ that is UN Secretariat. So simply Secretariat means record keeping office. Students, when you enter our holyheart Presidency School, then left side building is Adam block. In short, it is Adam block, otherwise it is administrative block. So what is it? Here all the records are kept. Here, there is a chairman sir's office, director ma'am's office, principal sir and principal ma'am's office. Other than these offices, there is a fee deposit office also. Means all the fee records are here. Then there is reception counter where the parents can come and meet and talk about their children. Means this all work is done about the school there in Adam Block, but the studies are done in other buildings where the teachers are teaching in the classroom. Same way, Lok Sabha also has secretariat. The work is done in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, these two houses, these two buildings, but secretariat is the building where the records are kept. The next is visitors gallery in Parliament. The procedure to watch the proceedings of the Lok Sabha for a common man is that he has to fill an application form available at the reception office of the Lok Sabha. A citizen of India above the age of 25 years can visit the Houses of Parliament to watch a debate, Prime Minister's questions, or Minister's questions in House during a fixed time. Yes, fixed time is very important. It's not full day anytime you can go. The time is fixed. Means anyone who is citizen of India above the age of 25 years, if wants to see the proceedings of the house, can go inside and stand in the galleries inside Lok Sabha. So this is visitors gallery, but it's not possible by your wish. You are to fill the application form and the permission will be granted by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. The next key term is Poto and Pota. You see, the last alphabet is changed. In the Poto, it's O, and in the Pota, it's A. Now, I will tell you the difference. Shortly after September 11, 2001, what we call in short 9/11, terrorist attacks in United States, India passed its own anti-terrorism ordinance in 2001, that is the Prevention of Terrorism Ordinance, POTO. Here you see, it's a Prevention of Terrorism Ordinance. When O comes, it means ordinance. And I hope you know it very well. Ordinance is an order issued by President in the recess of legislature when Parliament is not in session, but the country needs an order and the President has a power to issue that order. This is called ordinance. So President issued an ordinance in the prevention of terrorism. Same year, there was a terrorist attack on India's Parliament building in December 2001, and this ordinance was approved by Parliament later, which made this ordinance an act, that is POTA, that is Prevention of Terrorist Act 2002. Yes, students, as the president ordered this ordinance POTO, that time session was not going on. He issued it after September 2001. But when the budget session started in the end of February 2002, later this ordinance was approved by the legislature, and instead of O, now it became A. POTA means Prevention of Terrorist Act 2002. Here is also changed here. Now, I have already discussed with you some topic related key terms you must be remembering. Ordinary bill means any bill which is related to the matters which are not money matters, and the money bill is bill related to the matters which are money matters. Example is budget, but budget is not only a money bill. There are many examples like GST, goods and services tax. This is also a money bill. So there are many money bills which can be introduced. Then no confidence motion. Here the opposition members, if they get majority, they can pass a resolution against the ruling party, and they can show their no confidence in the ruling party. And if it is passed successfully, the government is dissolved. There will be fresh elections. And motion for impeachment, this is a method to remove the president, vice president, judges of Supreme Court and High Court. This also is passed in the legislature with two-third majority. Next is question hour and 0 hour. In the question hour is the first hour of the session when the questions are asked by the opposition members to the ruling party ministers, but they are asked with the permission of speaker, and even the date and times are also fixed by the speaker to be answered. And 0 hour is the time immediately after question hour when the questions are asked by the opposition members to the ruling party ministers, but here the questions are asked without permission of speaker. That's why we sometimes see lawlessness in the parliament. This is a scene of the 0 hour which media shows us in the television during the news time. Okay. Now, I will start the topic, that is the powers and functions of Lok Sabha and the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha, known as the Legislature of India, exercises various powers other than legislative powers. As the word is clear, Union Legislature, so students, don't feel like it has only legislative powers. It enjoys various other powers also, like executive powers, financial powers, judicial powers, and constitutional powers also. Now, I will discuss their detail stepwise. Now, first of all, I will discuss the legislative powers. I will start with an example. The example is on 26th March 2002. The joint session of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha was held for passing the photo bill. It had been passed by the Lok Sabha but was rejected by Rajya Sabha. Consequently, the President decided to call a joint session of both the houses. In this session, the photo bill was passed and it came to be called POTA. Yes, students, just now I talked to you about this while discussing the key terms with you. You know, when it was passed by Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha refused on some clauses. It's not totally refused. Some clauses were not accepted by Rajya Sabha. So it was a situation of deadlock. In this situation, as already I told you, the President calls a joint session which is presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha, and then the bill was passed, this ordinance, and in place of photo, now it was called POTA as it became an act. An ordinary bill can become a law only after it has been passed by both the houses of parliament and signed by the President. Although ordinary bills can be introduced in either of the two houses of the Parliament, yet almost all the bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha. In the last lecture, I told you the reason for this because almost all the ministers in Indian government belong to the Lok Sabha. That's why the bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha. After getting passed by the Lok Sabha, bill goes to the Rajya Sabha for approval. In case the Rajya Sabha returns the bill to the Lok Sabha with some amendments, the Lok Sabha reconsiders the bill. If the Lok Sabha passes the bill with changes and Rajya Sabha still is not prepared to pass it without changes, a deadlock occurs, which is solved by the joint sitting of both the houses. So you see, what is the condition here? In the Pota bill also this happened. The Lok Sabha passed the bill, but Rajya Sabha suggested some changes which were not accepted by Lok Sabha. So the situation was deadlock, and the President called the joint session. And in the joint sitting, this bill was passed and it became Pota. In the joint sitting, because of its larger membership, the Lok Sabha dominates the show. The joint sitting of both the houses is presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. You know, in joint sitting, the Lok Sabha dominates the show. What does it mean? I hope you know total membership of Lok Sabha is elected members are 543 and 2 are nominated. But in Rajya Sabha, there are 250. So obviously 545 is more than 250, and out of 545 also elected and the majority party members are more than the members of the Rajya Sabha. So here the will of Lok Sabha prevails and bill is passed according to the choice of Lok Sabha. Next is executive powers. The Lok Sabha makes the Council of Ministers responsible to itself through various methods. Students, this comes under the executive powers when the Council of Ministers are responsible to the legislature. There are three methods, that is by asking questions on the policies adopted by the ruling party. And you know who will ask questions? The questions are asked by the opposition members. This is how they are controlling the ruling party ministers. Second is by rejecting the ordinary bills and money bills of the government. Yes, when government introduces ordinary bill or money bill, opposition, if they reject it, then also it is controlling the executive. And by moving no confidence motion, I already discussed with you in detail what is no confidence motion. When the other party or the other side gets a majority. So in all these three cases, the other side means opposition side is getting majority. That's why they are able to reject the government bills or suggestions. Okay. The Lok Sabha can remove the ministers from office by passing a vote of no confidence against them. Thus, the life and death of the cabinet is decided by the Lok Sabha. If the Lok Sabha rejects any policy or decision of the cabinet, it is taken to be vote of no confidence against the entire council of ministers and it results in dissolution of the government. Yes, students, it is not so that if suppose against a bill is no confidence motion is passed against suppose a railway minister, it's not railway minister is to resign. A vote of no confidence passed against one minister means the other side is now stronger. They are able to pass with the majority. So it proves now the ruling party is no more in majority and this dissolves the government and there will be fresh elections. Next is financial powers. Now again I will start with an example. Money bill can be introduced in Lok Sabha only. This I told you earlier also. After being passed by it, such a bill is sent to the Rajya Sabha. A money bill passed by the Lok Sabha can be delayed by the Rajya Sabha for a maximum period of 14 days. If the Rajya Sabha fails to pass a money bill and 14 days are passed, it is deemed to have been passed by both the houses of parliament and is sent to the head of the state, that is, the president, for his signatures, and then it becomes an act. So, this is a routine. The bill is to be passed in both houses and it goes to the president. So, in case of money bill, there is no option with the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha can keep it only for maximum 14 days. Rajya Sabha cannot make any change in the money bill, nor it can delay the bill. So, if it delays, it is considered as automatically passed. In case of any dispute as to whether a particular bill is a money bill or not, the Speaker of Lok Sabha gives the decision. His decision is final and can't be challenged in court or in any Rajya Sabha or the Lok Sabha. Yes, Speaker's decision is final. Inside Lok Sabha, the Speaker is having very high position. His decisions are always final in the Lok Sabha. Thus, we can say that the Lok Sabha has the final control over the finances of the Union. It is the real custodian of the national purse, that is, finance of the nation. Yes, students, you know there are two types of government funds, that is Consolidated Fund of India and second is Contingency Fund of India. No money can be spent from either consolidated fund or contingency fund without the approval of the legislature. So, who is sitting in the legislature? It is our representatives who are sitting, whom we have elected. So, this is what democratic form of government. Next function is judicial powers. Now, I will start with an example. You know, in 2009, what happened? 58 members parliaments of Rajya Sabha moved a motion for impeachment against Calcutta High Court Judge Sumitra Singh for his involvement in financial misappropriation. Here, the Rajya Sabha acted as a court and judged all the allegations with the documents. But before the impeachment started in Lok Sabha, he resigned. Till today, no one has been impeached in India. You know that when the impeachment proceeding goes on, that time the legislature, union legislature, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, works as a court. All the documents and proceedings are done there against the person whom the impeachment process is going on. Example is of a Calcutta High Court judge, but it was passed only in the Rajya Sabha, and before it started in Lok Sabha, you know what happened? Tell me what happened? He resigned. So obviously, when a person is no more on seat, why there will be impeachment? Impeachment is to remove the person from the seat. But now he was no more on the seat. He himself resigned. It means he accepted his fault. Okay. The Lok Sabha too performs several judicial functions with Rajya Sabha. The impeachment resolution must be passed in both the houses with two-thirds majority separately. There is no joint session in this case. Yes, this is very important to know. In case of impeachment process, there is no joint session, and the impeachment process must be passed with the two-third majority in each house. You know what is two-third majority? It means 66%, and it's not easy thing because with the ruling party they need 51%, more than 50%, you can say. It can be 51% or any percent, but having 66% with the ruling party, it's not so easy to say. And in both the houses, if it is passed with 66%, then only impeachment is done. Okay. Until that's why till today no one has been impeached in India. And moreover, there is no joint session for impeachment in this case. Even in case of money bill also, there is no joint session. There is no question of deadlock over money bill, and there is no question of deadlock in the motion of impeachment. Means these both the things are passed separately in the both the houses. Joint session is only in case of ordinary bill. The President, Vice President, Judges of Supreme Court and High Courts, the Attorney General of India, the Chief Election Commissioner and the Comptroller and Auditor General of India can be removed by the process of impeachment in Parliament. You see, all these people can be removed by the Parliament. Here the Parliament acts as a court. For their removal, the case will not begin in the routine courts, either in High Court or Supreme Court. The case will begin in the Parliament. Okay, this is the judicial powers of the legislature. Now, I will discuss the electoral functions. From the word, I think so you are clear, electoral means elections. Now, I will start with an example. On the day of elections, we all the adult citizens of India vote for the candidate of our choice and elect the members of the legislature. It is direct election system. You know why it is direct? Because here we all adult citizens are voting. We know that today there are elections and everything is done clearly. There were election campaigns also. So this is direct election system. But when our elected representatives like MLAs and MPs elect other candidates like the President of India, it is indirect election system. Yes, they elect the president, but indirectly. They don't do any election campaign. There is no such campaign. We don't come to know about any poster. We don't see any poster on the roads. Means who is contesting the election for the president. Through news we can come to know, but there is no propaganda like this. So this is indirect election system. The Lok Sabha also performs some electoral functions. The elected members of Lok Sabha take part in the election of president. The members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha elect the Vice President of India. The members of Lok Sabha also elect the Speaker and Deputy Speaker from amongst themselves. So you see here, students, I have talked about four types of people who are elected by Lok Sabha. That is President of India, Vice President of India, Speaker of Lok Sabha and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. So they all are elected by the members of Lok Sabha. Next is amendment power. Now, for example, in 2019, the Constitution was amended by the Union Parliament by dividing the state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories. This, though, you must be knowing because it is recently done. And secondly, today we call these metro cities with their new names. We call Bombay as Mumbai, Calcutta as Kolkata, and Madras as Chennai. You know what is it? Where the changes are done, these are constitutional changes. These cities also got new names after some constitutional amendments, as all the names are mentioned in the Constitution of India. So you see the names of states as well as all cities, what I have discussed here. Everything is mentioned in the Constitution of India. If any change is done, then it is changed in the Constitution of India. And whenever change is done in the Constitution, we call it amendment. So, change of boundaries of states, creation of new states, and change in the name of state are done by the Union Parliament. Here, the state legislatures cannot make any amendment to the Constitution. They can't initiate, they can't start any change. It can also pass a resolution for abolishing or reconstituting the upper house of the state legislature. As I told you, out of 28 states, 22 have one house, that is Legislative Assembly, and six have two houses, that is Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. So where is it all mentioned? This is all mentioned in the Constitution of India. So Constitution Amendment Bill can be introduced only in the Union Legislature. It needs to be passed according to the provisions of the Constitution. Yes, every article has its own procedure for amendment. If any name is to be changed or any state boundaries are to be changed, everything has procedure, means how much percentage is required in the legislature through which amendment can be done. The next function is approval of the declaration of emergency. For example, there are three types of emergencies. In class 10th also you have done the names of emergencies, that is national emergency, emergency in the state, and financial emergencies. So these are the three names of emergencies. Each declaration of emergency by the president has to be approved by both the houses of parliament within a stipulated period. You know, all these emergencies can be declared by the president. Yes, because he is head of the state. So emergency announcement will be done by the president, but president also has some limitations on his power. The approval of the emergency is to be done by the legislature, that is parliament, because we are living in democratic country. So in democracy, the legislature must approve any order made by the executive head, that is the president of India. In case the Lok Sabha stands dissolved at the time of declaration of emergency, it has to be approved by the Rajya Sabha. You see, here the Rajya Sabha is having some exceptional power. Here it is shouldering the responsibility of Lok Sabha, because in case Lok Sabha is dissolved at the time of declaration of emergency, and what will happen, because it is to be approved by the legislature, it doesn't mean that it will not be approved because Lok Sabha is not there in the session, or Lok Sabha is already dissolved. Then emergency session of the Rajya Sabha will be called and Rajya Sabha will approve it, because it's also legislature. Now I will discuss about the Speaker of Lok Sabha. You know, the speaker is the most powerful man in Lok Sabha who enjoys supreme authority on the floor of the house. He enjoys a status equal to that of the Chief Justice of India. The speaker is respected by all the members to the extent that when he stands in the house, no other member stands, and when he speaks, no one else speaks. So, students, you must see what is his status. His status is equal to the Chief Justice of India. He enjoys very respectful place in India. Now, I will discuss about the method of election of speaker. You know, in 2019 June, the members of 17th Lok Sabha unanimously elected Shri Om Birla as Speaker, who is BJP MP in the House. You see the picture of Mr. Om Birla. He is a Speaker of 17th Lok Sabha, which is now going on in India. So he was elected in June 2019. After the general elections, when the new Lok Sabha is constituted, the Speaker is elected by the House in its first meeting. Yes, on the very first day after the elections, when the legislature meets, first thing they do is they elect their Speaker. The leader of the majority party proposes the name of the speaker after consulting the leaders of the opposition parties, and they second the name so proposed. Yes, students, the leader of majority party proposes a name of the speaker. And who is the leader of majority party? Tell me, who is the leader? Yes, it is the Prime Minister. He proposes a name of the speaker, and this proposal is approved by the opposition parties, and this way the speaker is appointed. It means here I am not talking about the election, just the proposal is accepted and approved by the opposition. The election to the office of the speaker takes place only if the majority party and other parties disagree over the issue. Yes, now you must be clear. The elections to the office of speaker will be there only and only when there is a disagreement over the name. Suppose leader of the majority party proposes a name, but it is not accepted by the opposition party. Then there will be election. Otherwise, there is no need of election. Now, I will tell you what are the qualifications required to be the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Any sitting member of Lok Sabha can be elected as the Speaker by the House. Yes, a person who is to be the Speaker of Lok Sabha must be member of the Lok Sabha. Without being member, he cannot become the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Second is by a convention, the speaker always belongs to the majority party. Otherwise, constitution is silent about this. But a convention has been laid that normally the leader of majority party, as I told you, the prime minister, he nominates, he suggests the names for the speaker, and obviously he will suggest the name of his own party member. So this has become a convention that the speaker always belongs to the majority party. There are no formal qualifications for the office of the speaker. The qualifications essential for the membership of the Lok Sabha are also the essential qualifications for the office of speaker. So here I am telling you the same qualifications as to be the member of Lok Sabha apply to be the speaker also. However, only an experienced and popular member who belongs to the majority party is always elected to this office. Yes, when the leader of the majority party decides about who will be the speaker, he checks this thing. The person who is to be suggested, he must be experienced and popular member. Then he suggests the name. Okay, so these are the qualifications to be the speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, I will discuss the tenure of Lok Sabha speaker. The example is Mrs. Sumitra Mahajan, member BJP, was a speaker of 16th Lok Sabha. She continued working as a speaker till Mr. Om Birla, member BJP, was appointed as a speaker of 17th Lok Sabha in 2019. So you see here, 17th Lok Sabha started in June 2019. Before that, obviously 16th Lok Sabha was going on, and that time also BJP was in majority. That time BJP speaker was Mrs. Sumitra Mahajan, but she didn't resign with the dissolution of Lok Sabha when the elections were to be done. She continued as a speaker till the next speaker was announced. When Om Birla took his seat, then she resigned. Okay, so the constitution is silent about the tenure, but the speaker serves till the next speaker comes to the office. So even if the government changes, but the speaker doesn't change till the next speaker joins office. Yes, it may be any party, next party can be any other party also, but the speaker will of the last party will continue till the next speaker joins the office. The tenure of the speaker goes side by side with the tenure of Lok Sabha, that is 5 years. As we know, the tenure of Lok Sabha is 5 years, so the tenure of speaker is also 5 years. However, the Speaker continues to be in office even after the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. This point I have already discussed with you in detail. He holds office till the new Lok Sabha elects its own new Speaker, as I have given you example of Mrs. Sumitra Mahajan and Mr. Om Birla. Now, there are some methods of removal. Before 5 years also, he can be removed. The speaker ceases to hold office if he resigns from office. The speaker can resign from his office at any time before the completion of full tenure. Yes, and what is a full tenure? That is 5 years. Before 5 years also, he himself can resign. It can be on any issue, health issues or any party conflict, anything, he can resign from his seat. And the second method is a resolution is passed against him by the majority of members of the Lok Sabha with the prior notice of 14 days. So if the members of Lok Sabha want to remove him, then the resolution is to be passed. But the notice of 14 days is must. But I tell you here, if the speaker is of majority party and the resolution is passed, naturally resolution will be passed by majority. Then here who is having majority? Obviously opposition is having majority. In other way, it will become a vote of no confidence when the speaker is removed by the opposition. This shows in other way also. Okay. Now I will discuss powers and functions of the Lok Sabha speaker. First power is to preside over the meetings of the House. Now I will start with an example. In routine, the Speaker presides over the meetings of the Lok Sabha, and in case of deadlock, he presides over the joint session of both the houses. Students, here I have talked about two powers. One is to preside over the meetings of Lok Sabha, and second is to preside over the joint session. Yes, in case of deadlock, means he will preside either Lok Sabha or joint session. The Speaker's official role is to moderate debate, make rulings on the procedure, announce the results of votes, etc. The Speaker decides who may speak and fixes the date and time for the questions to be asked by the members of the opposition parties to the concerned minister of the ruling party. Yes, students, when I talked about the question hour, that time I also told you that the opposition members ask the question to the ministers of the ruling party. But it's not suddenly they will stand and ask the question. They deposit their question to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. And if the question is to be asked in the question hour, naturally it is to be deposited to the Speaker, and Speaker will fix the date and time when the concerned minister is to reply. And it is the Speaker's duty to inform the concerned minister also, so that he is ready with the reply and brings his complete data, so that he satisfies the opposition party. The Speaker presides over the meetings of the House and conducts its proceedings. He also presides over the joint sitting of the two houses. The next is to maintain discipline in the Lok Sabha. The example is, now let's come to the school. In each class, there is one class representative, that is CR, to manage the class discipline in the absence of teacher. Even in the corporate sector also, we find department heads to maintain the departments. So what is it? This is all to maintain the discipline. So what is the role of the speaker in the Lok Sabha? That's also to maintain the discipline. The speaker maintains the discipline in the house. If any member disrupts the proceedings of the house, the speaker can warn him or can take suitable action. He can warn the members against the use of unparliamentary language. You know what does it mean, unparliamentary language? It means in the parliament, Hindi and English are only allowed. If any member doesn't know the use of Hindi or English language, he can talk in his mother tongue with the prior permission of the speaker. But if we start talking without prior permission of the speaker, then it will be against the parliamentary rules. So it will be unparliamentary language in that case, and speaker will warn him. Next is to fix the agenda of the house. Now again I will take you to the school activities. In school, you all have timetable and study accordingly. This timetable is prepared by the school by keeping in mind your studies and co-curricular activities for your personality development. In the same way, the legislature too has its functions to work for the development of the nation. So its agendas are fixed according to the time schedule. The speaker, in consultation with other members and the prime minister, fixes the agenda of the meetings of the house. Yes, students, which meetings I am here talking about? It is during the session. During the session, they meet daily. Whatever agenda is to be discussed, this all is finalized by the speaker with the members and the prime minister in advance. Then the work is done according to that, as the you all do according to the timetable in the school. The next is permission to ask questions. The example is during question hour, the opposition parties ask questions to the ruling party ministers. With the permission of the speaker, he fixes the date and time to ask the questions and also informs the concerned department minister in advance so that he is ready with data to reply. Yes, students, here you see when the opposition parties to ask the question to the ruling party minister, it's not suddenly he can ask. He will deposit his question to the speaker and speaker will give him permission with the date and time to be asked in the question hour. Question hour is the first hour of the working day during the session of the house, and minister will also be informed who will be ready with the data to reply. It's only with the permission of the Speaker any member of the House can ask questions to the ministers for getting information on various matters related to the working of the government. He recognizes the members on the floor of the House and gives them time for speaking in the House. So it is all done with the permission of the Speaker. The next is interpretation of rules of procedure. Again, example is of the school. During summer days, all the students like to go to the aqua room to take water, but all can't go together. So the teacher makes a system to send them turnwise and only those who come without water bottles due to some reason. So it all depends on the teacher how to manage it without waste of time, and moreover all must get water in hot weather season. So you see here the teacher is managing the system in the class. The time is also not wasted and all must get water, but she is sending only those students who are without water bottles in this summer season. The business of the house is conducted according to the settled rules of the procedure. Speaker fixes a time for the debates in the house, puts matter to vote, and announces the result. In case of any dispute regarding the rules of the house or whether a bill is a money bill or not, the interpretation of the speaker is final. The interpretation made by the speaker can't be challenged in any court of law. Yes, inside Lok Sabha, speaker is having complete authority to make all the decisions and no one can challenge it in any court of law. The next is power to adjourn the house. I have already discussed with you the meaning of adjourn. Adjourn means when the day is over and the work is stopped. You remember, I think so. For example, in 2018, when the winter session of the Lok Sabha started, on the very first day, all the members paid homage to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the former Prime Minister of India, who died during the recess of legislature. Yes, Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan read out obituary references to Vajpayee and adjourned the House for the day. Yes, she adjourned the House for a day only. And why she adjourned the House? Because during the recess of the legislature, ex-Prime Minister Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee died and homage was to be paid to him, and it was done in the Lok Sabha by adjourning the routine work for a day. So this is how the speaker adjourns the house and uses his power. If any sitting member dies or any ex-prime minister or president dies during the recess of the legislature, then on the very first day of the meeting of the next session, the house is adjourned after paying homage to the deceased member parliament. The speaker can adjourn the meetings of the house due to any such a reason as per rules. You know what can be the other reason? The reasons can be any other, many more, which are mentioned in the constitution. Like if there is a lack of quorum, quorum is 1/10 members must be present in the Lok Sabha to start its meeting. Suppose 1/10 members are not there. 545's 1/10 is 55 members. Suppose the presence in the Lok Sabha is less than 55 members. The speaker can't allow the work to be done. The speaker will adjourn the house. So this way, speaker has the power to adjourn the house. The next is to exercise the casting vote. The example is, though the speaker belongs to the ruling party, yet he is to act neutral in the house. His main responsibility is to maintain discipline in the house. If he gets partial and favors his party members inside the Lok Sabha, then he can't perform his duty according to rules. Yes, students, I have told you, as a convention is laid, normally the speaker is taken from the ruling party. But it doesn't mean now the speaker will favor his party members in the Lok Sabha. Speaker is to act neutral in the house, but sometimes he is to use his choice also. He is to show his partiality. You know what is a condition? That is condition of tie. The speaker doesn't participate in the debates and discussions of the house. He even doesn't take part in the voting on bills. In case of tie over any bill, he exercises casting vote and it decides the matter. Yes, otherwise he is neutral. But in case of tie, naturally he is to cast his vote and that will decide the matter. This vote is called the casting vote. The next is control over visitors' galleries. You know, there are galleries inside the Lok Sabha where the members are sitting around there. There is a gallery, and the visitors are allowed in this gallery during a fixed time. During the session of the House, we get various news on TV channels about what happened inside Parliament along with pictures and videos. Yes, if you have interest in news channels, so you can see easily the pictures and videos when the news reporters are talking about the Parliament. They show this thing. So how is it possible? Otherwise, if we think the government works are very confidential till the things are finally ready for the public, then how does this media reach in Parliament and inform us about inside discussion? Now we have to think over it. Actually, with the permission of the Speaker, visitors are allowed inside the Parliament at the visitors' gallery during the question hour and 0 hour only. Yes, this is the time when the visitors are allowed. This time, the opposition members ask the questions to the ministers of ruling party. Okay, the government's real confidential work starts after these 2 hours, when no one is allowed to be inside except the members of the parliament. The speaker controls the visitors' galleries. He can allow visitors like media in the galleries of the house, and in case of indiscipline, he can order them to leave the galleries. Yes, it's not that once the visitors are allowed, they will be there, maybe they are creating indiscipline. It's not like this. If there is any indiscipline in the Lok Sabha, then the speaker can tell them to leave the house. He can't tolerate any sort of indiscipline. And the next is administrative functions. The speaker has several administrative responsibilities, like she or he receives all documents in the house. She or he communicates the decisions of the house to the concerned authorities. She or he regulates the admission of visitors, the and press correspondence to the galleries of the house. She or he appoints the employees of the Lok Sabha Secretariat and determines their service rules. The Speaker has the responsibility regarding the upkeep of the records of the proceedings of the House. So, complete responsibilities of the Speaker to maintain all the records. No doubt there is a Secretariat of the Lok Sabha which is maintaining all the records, but they all are answerable to the Speaker, and it is the responsibility of the Speaker for the upkeep of all the records. Now, I will discuss what is the position of the Lok Sabha Speaker. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha is the presiding officer and the highest authority of the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Parliament of India. The Speaker of Lok Sabha enjoys a position of respect and dignity. As students, I have already told you, he enjoys the status like of Chief Justice of India. So it's really very respectful place. He has a supreme responsibility to conduct the proceedings of the House. He acts as the representative of the House and as its impartial chairman. Yes, no doubt he belongs to the ruling party, but once he becomes the speaker, he is to act neutral. His authority is supreme in the House, and no one can challenge his decisions and rulings. The challenge cannot be taken even to the courts, either High Court or Supreme Court. No one can challenge it. The Speaker doesn't resign from the membership of his party after being elected as Speaker. Nevertheless, he exercises powers in an impartial manner. Yes, students, I have told you he works in an impartial manner. Only and only in case of tie, he is to cast his vote, which is known as casting vote. Otherwise, he acts impartial. So, here I have talked about the power and functions of Lok Sabha and Lok Sabha Speaker. Now, I will discuss what I have discussed with you. I have discussed the topic power and functions of Lok Sabha and Speaker of Lok Sabha. Under this, I have discussed power and functions of the Lok Sabha. Under this, I have discussed 7 types of powers, that is legislative powers, executive powers, financial powers, judicial powers, electoral powers, amendment powers, approval of the declaration of emergency power. So these 7 types of powers of Lok Sabha I have discussed in detail. Then I have discussed about the Speaker of Lok Sabha. I have discussed the method of election of the Speaker, where I have told you that election is not necessary. Only and only election takes place if the opposition does not approve the nomination given by the leader of the majority party. Then I have discussed about the qualifications, tenure and method of removal of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. I have also discussed about the powers and functions of the Speaker of Lok Sabha, that is to preside over the meetings of the House, to maintain the discipline in the House, to fix the agenda of the House, permission to ask questions, interpretation of rules of procedure, power to adjourn the House, to exercise a casting vote, control over visitors' galleries, and administrative functions. So, all the things I have discussed with you in detail. And finally, in conclusion, I have discussed with you what is the position of the Lok Sabha Speaker. Now, I will discuss topic related questions, that is, how can you say that the Lok Sabha enjoys an upper hand in legislative matters over the Rajya Sabha? Support your answer with an example. Yes, students, you know it very well. I have discussed in detail that there are 2 types of bills, money bill and ordinary bills. In routine, the bill can be introduced in any house, but you know which bill goes only and only to the Lok Sabha, which can be introduced there only? Yes, that's a money bill. So, in case of money bill, the Lok Sabha enjoys the upper hand, but you will write this all in detail, okay? Name the house that enjoys the real executive powers. Support your answer with an examples. Yes, again here the role is of Lok Sabha. Yes, vote of no confidence, question hour, 0 hour. These are the ways by the legislature to control the executive body, that is the Council of Ministers. So these are the executive powers of the legislature. We will discuss all these with an examples as I have given examples in my lecture. Third question is, how can you say that both the houses have equal judicial power? Support your answer with examples. Yes, this is a matter where both the houses are equal. Yes, this is called impeachment procedure. In case of impeachment of judges of Supreme Court, High Court, Chief Justice of India, or there are President of India, Vice President of India, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, they can be impeached by the parliament, by the both houses, but there is no joint session. This is to be done separately. So this is the power which is enjoyed by both the houses equally. Okay, and I have given you example also here about the one judge of High Court of Kolkata, which was to be impeached. This impeachment procedure was passed in Rajya Sabha. You will write about this also in detail. Next is who are elected by the members of the Lok Sabha and through which method. Students, here I given you the list of the members who are elected by the Lok Sabha, that is President of India, Vice President of India, Speaker of Lok Sabha and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. They are only and only elected by the Lok Sabha. But the President of India and Vice President of India, no doubt they are elected by the Rajya Sabha and so state assemblies also, but here the question is only of Lok Sabha, so you will mention all these names with regard to the Lok Sabha. Okay. Under which circumstances does the Rajya Sabha shoulder the responsibility of the Lok Sabha? Here I talked that in case of emergency, the President orders the emergencies, but it must be approved by the legislature. But suppose Lok Sabha is not in the legislature, means Lok Sabha is no more there, it's dissolved already, then emergency session of Rajya Sabha can be called and Rajya Sabha will approve the order given by the President. So this is a time when Rajya Sabha shoulders the responsibility of the Lok Sabha. How is a Speaker of Lok Sabha elected? Are elections must for the appointment of Speaker? So I have told you that the Speaker name is nominated by the leader of majority party and opposition members approve it. If they don't approve, then only the elections takes place. Otherwise, there is no need of elections. And write any 6 powers of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Mention in detail. Yes, students, here you see I have discussed 9 powers of Speaker. So you can mention any 6 powers with examples in detail. So students, this covers your pages from 205 to 210. So I have discussed complete topic with you in detail. I hope you are clear about today's topic. You will watch the video again and do the snap homework questions. Okay. Now today's topic is over, but chapter will continue. I will discuss the next topic next time. Thank you. Bye bye.